Forrest Lasso, my guy.
What's going on,
You
brother?
doing all right? It's
Doing
good
well,
to see you, buddy. Good to see you.
Likewise.
So we're here at the Rowdies Training Facility, and Forrest is here. How's it feel, man? I mean, opening day. I mean, it's just a couple of days away.
I mean, it's incredible. It was like the excitement, the little Christmas feeling was back Monday for sure. And coming back in, like this is what we live for.
So obviously changes to the team this year. I mean, every year is a new year with a new club. What is what is like the biggest thing we can learn about this team this year that's different than last?
Oh man, great question. I probably can't give you a full answer yet.
You don't know yet because you got to play.
Exactly. I can't go out there and speculate too much, but I will say that we have, or not we, Robbie, Nico, the rest of the club have brought in some tremendously talented players, guys that can do some special things. I mean, you were out there today. You probably saw, I can't mention names or specifics, but there's some guys that have some pretty special skills. So, but it's the first game of the season, so we have no idea what Vegas is going to bring. They have no idea what we're going to bring. There's definitely going to be some wrinkles along the way, but I'm definitely excited to see the quality and product we put out there.
Bro, I know it killed you so much not being out there last year, but you were still involved. You were still walking out with the team a bunch. What is it going to mean to you that first game when you finally, you walk out there with the team and you're going to be actually playing the game after being out last season?
I just got chills thinking about it. I mean, I love what I do so much. It's such a blessing. And to go through what I went through, put a lot of things into perspective. Obviously, parenthood did a lot of that as well. But I never lost the love for the game. But going through what I went through definitely highlighted the parts that are indescribable. I mean, there's a reason why we've committed, or why I've committed, blood, sweat, and tears for now 31 years to this game or this craft. And it means the world to me. So then, piggybacking, I guess, on what I just said, of course, the competitor, the teammate, I want to win trophies. I want to lift things for the club. We want to put our names down in history, all that great and good stuff. But for me personally, being able to go back out there in front of my wife, in front of my kids now, my two boys, even though they're young, they might not understand it. I actually spoke with a friend about this right after the injury. Isaiah Thomas, all-star NBA player.
Yeah, of course.
We may have spoken about this, actually, forgive me, but all-star NBA player. Has kids of his own.
Let's talk about this part. I like this.
Yeah, it's cool. So
hold on. Let me make sure I get the name. Got to put the name in here because I'm the own producer of here. So we'll put Forrest Lasso and Jay Recher. Lasan. Yeah, there you go. Come on. There you go. So you're talking about the Isaiah Thomas, the younger one, not the older one.
Younger one. Shorter little point guard.
Left-handed.
Yeah, most recently maybe with the Boston Celtics. I can't remember. Maybe when he was doing his best thing, but. He had this tremendous career, and then he got hurt, and he got sent down to the G League, and everyone's asking me, you've made all the money, you've won all the things, what keeps you going? And he was very honest and transparent. He goes, I got boys of my own in the home, and what would it show them if their dad, who's achieved so much and done so much, quits or gives up at the first sign of adversity? And for that just that hit home, it resonated. So for me, I think I'm the best in the world. I think I can literally do anything and everything. I have that stubborn confidence that literally, I think that's what puts me in these positions. But I want to teach my kids that lesson. I can't necessarily just say it. Actions speak louder than words. So for myself, first and foremost, for my family, for my friends, for everyone that looks at me for inspiration or support or encouragement, I had to now walk the walk and talk the talk. I had to do it myself. So that little piece of it, it woke me up every day. It kept me itching at it and grinding. And long answer short, I can't wait. There's going to be a ton of tears. There's going to be an emotional night. Oh, yeah. That's what it's all about.
One thing, I was just having this conversation out there when you guys were training. You got young players on this team, but there's that core group of guys, Leo and Lewis and Aaron. I'll even add Manu into there, but the first couple of guys I mentioned, you're the OGs of the Rowdies now, brother. This is one of those things where, the USL is such a unique league, right? Because sometimes guys go to MLS, sometimes guys go overseas, sometimes you see guys, and we're going to see a bunch of different players that we've seen with the Rowdies, Freddie and Cal and all these guys at different teams this year. But what is that leadership group like? That core group, and we'll stay with those four guys. I'm not leaving anybody out, am I?
No,
those are the four guys that have been here the longest, right? You, Lewis, Leo, and
Aaron. I believe so.
I think so, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Castellanos coming back, but he's in the other group. He's in a different group. But I think those four, the core four, as I like to call you guys. Okay. And what is that like to know that, all right, you take care of your business, but those guys are going to be able to pick up the leadership slack. It doesn't just fall on one person.
Yeah, it's a team sport, and go into the team sport, you've got 11 guys on the field, but it's also broken down into units. So we like to think we have, a goalkeeper and defensive unit. We have the midfielders, we have forwards, wing backs. You can kind of break it down a couple of different ways. So thinking about that theoretically, you need a leader or someone, a disciplinary that can kind of guide the guys in that position of the field.
Right.
So whether it would have been Lee, Neil, Nico, Robbie, obviously it's been a bit fluid over the years, but I think that's one of the great things about the Rowdies. There's been a sense of continuity and consistency, obviously since 1975 in the history. I mean, shout out to the 50th year. You got to throw in that plug a little bit.
Yes, sir.
But you look at the guys, Keith Savage. I mean, you look at these guys that have been part of the club, and they weren't just here for one go about. And then you say yourself, guys like myself, guys like Lawrence, guys like Cassie, guys like Tommy. This is our second phase. We've been here before, and we came back. For me, that speaks volumes on what Tampa has to offer as a club, but it also speaks volumes on maybe on the players want to come back. I mean, it's a two-way street, most definitely. But the core, it doesn't, respectfully, Jay, it doesn't matter if it's my name, Lewis's name, or Aaron's name. I think those guys, myself included, maybe we do a good job of portraying the pillars or fundamentals or foundational pieces that the club is built on, but it's everyone on the pitch, and that's what they've done a really good job of bringing guys in. But to give you the answer maybe we're looking for is, the older guys, we've been around the block a few times. We've gotten in trouble more than most. We know how to do things right. So that's where we kind of come into play. So whether it be, hey, pick up your water bottle, or hey, help us clean this up, and it's really small details that I believe make the long-lasting impact. So for the four of us, we just try to stay as humble as we can and remember that, like, at any moment, and I learned this a lot last year, we can be replaced. It's a business. There's always someone next up who's probably better. So we have to really focus on the small details.
And it's just the history of this club too. I mean, Perry Vanderbeck's still around, and that great hair that he's got. Jeff Attinella, a really good friend of mine. The guy that was big time with one of the stars that you guys have. I can't wait. I want you guys to win the championship so bad. Like, it's every single year. I get so excited. I'm more excited about you guys because I've been so close to the club the last couple of years, and the access, and it's a special bond, with the Rowdies and our community. But I want to ask you about that too, because when you look at the team, I talked to Jordan Farr after it was announced that he was moving on. Did such a great job for you guys. He's just incredible. But he's like, Jay, when you talk to other people, the Rowdies name carries a lot of weight. This isn't just people don't say, oh, it's the Tampa Bay Rowdies, they play in the USL Championship. They understand. This is one of those teams that is taking serious around the world. I was one of those people that got interviewed before a Manchester United Champions League game on one of those viral videos that they do, name four clubs, or name four clubs that start with an M, name three stadiums, and I said the Rowdies is one of them, and the guy knew. It was a guy from the UK, and he knew who the Tampa Bay Rowdies were. So I was like, wow, that's really, because you don't know, right? No. Because you went over there and you were able to play overseas. Right. But I don't know, if I go around the world, if people know, big-time soccer fans or football fans, they know what they do.
You just said it yourself. Around the world, you go to any other country, any other region, there's more times than not just the MLS and USL. There's 1 to 4 to 8 to 10. I mean, you go to England and UK, there's loads of teams. You have your neighborhood teams, your pub teams, your professional teams. So those people in those regions, they have plenty to remember on their own. Why would they care about what's going on in America?
Right.
That's what's fascinating. You go into Asia, you go wherever, and hey, there's the green and gold, and there's someone's wearing a throwback Rowdy shirt. Hey, that's pretty cool.
I know. And Robbie Nielsen now, we'll be talking to him here in a little bit. What about any adjustments for him now? Second full year now with the team. Have you noticed anything different with him as far as his adjustments going from the first year to the second year?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like all of us. I think you just get better as you go. I think being an American who went abroad and had to put myself into those cultures and submit to those, immerse myself into those cultures. It's challenging. Luckily, there's not a language barrier, and the football is more or less pretty similar. So, I think he's doing an incredible job. I think that the hardest obstacle for anyone is just understanding the league, understanding your opponents. I think, like you said, the USL has maybe in the past had more turnover player-wise and coaching-wise than more recent years. But with that part of the game, you got to be fluid. You got to adjust. You got to be able to make shifts on the fly. And I think we did a pretty tremendous job considering that was his first time out last year. So I like to think that the off seasons where we iron out all our kinkles and the product we put out there now will be even better. So.
How crazy is it that Neil is back in the league and he's looking for a second?
That's part of the game.
It's crazy, right? And I just, as soon as I saw that, I go, yeah, I'm sure his wife and kids are happy to be back in the sunshine.
That's one playing there, one playing there. That's unfortunately part of it, but that's the funniest thing is sometimes you think you close that door for good, and then most times you turn around and it opens right back up in your face. So I can't wait to see him again. Obviously, he's a legend around these parts, but you know, when it comes time to I can't remember what date it is, but it's go time. You know,
Yeah,
we're not friends.
No,
for
of
90
course
minutes,
not.
you know?
I mean, that's the thing is a friend of mine told me years ago, you always want to beat your friends.
Oh,
You always want to beat your
Those
friends.
are
You always
always-
want to have that over. So what else have you been doing since the last time we talked as far as off season, home life? How's everything going there?
Home's great. You know, I got 2 boys under 2 growing up faster than ever. Yes, it's
Sleeping through the night?
We're getting there. We're the youngest one is just now creeping up on a full 8-hour shift.
Okay,
so,
good,
no,
good.
It's been a fun 2 years, no doubt. I've loved every second of it.
Mhm.
I'm pretty active on social media, so I think a lot of people that follow me, me or my wife, they see me and our kids and how crazy it is and all that good stuff. But no, it's been good. It's honestly been the biggest blessing in disguise. People laugh and they say, you know, how's your ACL recovery, all this, and that's a story for another time. What I'm saying is, my joke is, if you get hurt, if you want to rehab and get back to it, just have a kid. Just literally have that kid. Have 2. Hell, I mean, it's like I still can't. Shout out to my wife; she's an absolute superhero. But you know, they made the toughest, deepest, darkest parts of my life insanely the most enjoyable. Like I had the most fun I've ever had professionally these past 7 months. 100%. 100%. So their family's good, man. They're awesome. I can't wait to go home and see it right now today. I got a picture from my wife just a second ago of the neighborhood cat brought some dead animals to our front porch, and my 2-year-old's running around and all this stuff. So I don't know. It's but no, it's amazing.
What is personal goals for you, right? Because you're a guy that I was just making this remark outside of. I can't wait to go and see how many aerial duels you win in the first couple of matches because you just own whether it's offensively or defensively. Like that's your plot of land right there. You're always. I saw one out there today where here's just a whole scrum of 14, 16 people there, and then here's just you flying through the sky, heading the ball, and I'm just like, man, that's got to be. Do you set a goal for yourself for goals as a defender? I know it's tough, but do you set any kind of personal goals?
Of course, I think you have targets because you want to achieve them and keep you something like the carrot in front of the horse.
Yeah.
Metaphor, more or less. You know, I will say I have had a few goals over the years. Not anything. This may seem crazy. I've never once set the Defender of the Year goal and never set the best 11. I thought having those goals in an obvious way were too selfish and wouldn't allow me to do what I needed to do if I was only focusing on myself.
Right.
So for me, like you said, like I wanted to be, I think I'm the best. I wanted to be the best. Right. And to be the best, I have to put in the work. So that was it. It's like, how can I just be the best version of myself? And now over the years, obviously the accolades and all that good stuff have come with it. So to give you a long answer to this, I've been so blessed to have those things, to have the plaques and the awards, and I'm eternally grateful. And it's truly speechless. But for me, what goal do I have right now, Jay? To tell you the absolute truth, I won't come back Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I want to have the Eastern Conference and the USL Championship in both of my hands, and to come back Player of the Year, not because of what I want to contribute on the field, but because I want to be available. I think that after what I went through last year, the best way that I can be the best version of myself is just showing up every day and being that. So whether I'm on the pitch as one of the 11 or I'm coming off the bench or whether I'm in the stands like I was last year, frankly, it doesn't matter too much to me. I'm happy to compete. I'm ready to make myself better and in turn make my teammates better. So I would love to follow Zach Haribo's shoes and have that comeback Player of the Year. And the reason I say that is in order to maybe achieve or earn that award is I just have to be healthy. So my biggest goal is be on the pitch, be healthy, be the best version of myself, and do what I can to help the guys.
I know that there's some new faces this year. Ollie Bass is one of those guys that just stands out. I mean, he got the red hair. You can see him from the other side. It's funny because the picture that the Rowdies posted was a black and white picture, and it's still on the website. I got to tell him, I got cheated because you could see him from the other side of the field, and he's in the middle of everything, man. It's exciting. I know there's a lot of other faces, but to see what he can do out there, I know that's kind of like a breath of fresh air of the team. Like you kind of know what some of the guys, again, Manu's going to be up top. Lewis and Leo and Aaron are going to do, but to get a guy like Ollie, who's pretty hyped going into the season and to see his skills out there, he's got to be one of the guys that you're keeping an eye on.
No doubt, no doubt. Ollie actually, his old goalkeeper coach was Mark Village, and I played with Mark Village back in 2018 in Cincinnati. So I have a little insight about who Ollie was. They only spent a year together. I mean, I don't know much, no more than everyone else, nobody, but Ollie is a tremendous player. He's been really fun to watch, like you said, but it's not necessarily just Ollie. You look in the middle of the park with Kim, with Danny, with Lewis, with Ollie, and then Woobin's up top as well. Like, of course,
fly.
For all these guys, athletes, you can just see the attributes that we already have, and we've seen, the Leos, the Lewis's, Aaron's. We've seen them do it for 60 games in a Rowdies jersey, so you kind of know what to expect or their standard. But like you're saying, these guys, man, there's days out there where my jaw, I have to pick it up off the floor. I mean, I'll just point it out there for the people that see it. Ollie's not the tallest guy on the field, and I think a lot of Americans look at a player's lack of physicality and they think, oh, how is this guy going to compete against someone like my stature? But that's not football at all. I mean, this guy's putting the ball in the corners where only the spiders are. He's making things. I mean, this guy he's a player, man. It's going to be fun to watch.
That's what Messi has done, right? Messi's shown that you don't have to be.
Well, there's a comparison for you.
I'm not going there. I'm not going, but you know what I'm saying? That's as far as the size goes.
For sure.
You still haven't watched Ted Lasso?
I still haven't.
I asked you this like 5 years ago.
I know it. What were we, season 3, season 4?
I watched it twice. Yeah, I asked you 5. I literally asked you before. I asked you this question before you left to Sweden.
I know.
And you still haven't watched it.
I had 2 kids. That's my excuse.
That's true. But I'm sure that's the question that even someone here on the text line, they wrote it up there. But it's just like, yeah, man, it's like, it's just are you guys watching anything right now? Do you have any time to watch any shows with 2 kids under 2?
Not tons. We're not a huge TV family either.
Yeah.
We like to really spend a lot of time just being present. I know that's corny. Everyone watches TV.
No.
So, but my wife and
I'm the complete opposite, so I appreciate that. Like, okay. I can't live. When my girlfriend first started dating me, she walked into the room one time, and I literally had 3 laptops, my phone, and a TV on all at the same time watching.
No, I mean, we're all good.
One of them was a Rowdies game. It was a midweek game, and she goes, "This is my life, isn't it?" I go, "This is what you signed up for." I wish there was a part of me that I didn't have to, but it's just like, because you're right. I like the fact of being present and not like depending on something else for entertainment and just being.
But I also think it's a unique situation. Like for me, I get such a fill from sports and that competitive drive that when I go home, it's like I'm good there. I will watch soccer till the day I die, but I need a couple hours. Give me whatever. Let's play a board game or something. But sorry, we got distracted. What are we watching? We have gone down the rabbit hole of reality TV. Or what other synonym you want to put in there. So we have Love is Blind, Southern Charm, Summer House. Like we have
Love is Blind. Yeah,
we're in Love is Blind, the new season right now. Okay. It's quite entertaining. Some characters more so than the others, but I don't choose. When I get home after the long days we have, and my wife's like, "Hey, you want to sit down and watch a show?" I'm like, "Put on whatever you want." I'll get into it with you. I'm a team player.
What other sports are like other than if you're watching? So what other soccer do you watch?
I mean, all
Premier League or whatever.
Of course. Premier League's probably the most successful.
Did I ever ask you who you like?
I grew up a Chelsea fan. So, like in my more recent years, I'm a fan of the sport. Obviously, I just love watching good quality footy. Obviously, with all the transfers and there's just so much movement that as a sportsman, I don't have a specific team. Okay. I grew up a Chelsea fan. I grew up playing for the Chelsea Academy, so that was where my allegiance first took me.
Is that why you like them, or did you?
That was why I was.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
I mean, growing up, I was John Terry. So John Terry, Frank Lampard, Andre Pirlo, Carlos Schwarzenegger. I mean, I was a defender literally from before I even knew it. That was like who I liked watching. I loved Ashley Cole, Frank Maluda. Like I watched the old school Chelsea guys. I didn't know soccer, so when I was growing up, all my friends had teams, and they're like, "Who do you support?" I was like, I looked down, I was like, "Well, I should support the team that's on my shirt." So that's how it all started. But now, I mean, I'll watch it anything. Being able to travel around the world, I still watch some Mouse fencing games. I watch, the Saudi league. Now, if the footy's on, I'll put it on. Yeah. But to this point, I try not to put it on around the house too much because my family definitely.
They over it a little bit?
A little bit. I mean, my son, every time soccer's on TV, he says Bubba, which is dad in Turkish. Yes. So he thinks every soccer player is me, which is so cool. Like,
that's great.
I wish that was me, but no, it's not.
So a John Terry fan, I was just watching some stuff the other day on him and the Champions League final against United. That's my great-grandparents are from Manchester. And just to be able to, like, bounce back, and it's wild. The teams or the players that have gone through Chelsea over the years, you mentioned them, and even – the link with a guy like Joe Cole, right? I mean, that's pretty wild to think that one of the better players there. I mean, Joe and Ashley Cole and Joe Cole playing for the Rowdies.
I mean, that little bit of history. When I came into the league 2015-16 and played against Joe the first couple of times, I literally was starstruck. I was like, I just watched this guy win the Premier League and Champions League like a handful of years ago. I can remember watching him and celebrating. And then there's actually a clip I still have it saved somewhere on social media. I was with Charleston. Joe cuts into the box, and I read it, and I just a Forrest Lasso challenge. Just
man.
went into him, knocked the air out of him. He did not like it. It wasn't a foul. But for me, I was like, I cannot believe I just, did that with Joe Cole. And it was so cool. And now, fortunately over the years, we've, built a little relationship. Obviously,
That's cool,
he's
man.
a big dog. I'm just a pebble of sand on his radar.
Does he live in the States or over in England?
I think he lives in England primarily. Based on what he's doing
Yeah.
around the world, he's probably over there. But I mean, man's all over the place.
Yeah, I don't see him as much on TV as I used to. I've been watching a lot now too. Being a United supporter and seeing them lose the other day in the FA Cup on PKs. You see more and more. It used to be every single guy taking your PK for the most part was going to be a forward or a center mid, but now you're seeing more and more defenders. If it got to kicks, are you going to be one of the first 5? You think?
No,
I
don't.
Where would you fit in the 11?
I think maybe
the keeper's not kicking before you.
Well,
is he?
I've had 6 or 7 penalties in my college and professional career in real games. Never missed.
Nice.
Never missed. I had a big one in Cincinnati during a shootout in the playoffs. The 5th one didn't miss. And I've handled the pressure.
5th one.
Yeah, that was 35,000, 40,000 people.
Man.
Yeah. And again, center backs aren't used to that.
Where'd you go? Top bin somewhere?
I smashed it to the right. Hit
Right
as hard as I can. Just a little to the right, a little off center. Don't have to go side netting, but I believe
if you hit it hard enough, I think you're in good shape, right?
Yeah, even if you hit your hands.
When I see these defenders go up and they take over, there's no slow run up and they're flying and they just kick it right down the middle. I'm like, that makes so much sense for a guy that's not doing it all the time, right?
Yeah, margin of errors.
It's true.
Why try to put it in the corner when I can end up putting it in the stands? I'd rather just go right.
Yeah, exactly. Man.
No, I'm maybe we'll see.
I like it, man.
As much as I want to put the defenders in the PK 5 or the first 5, it's just we have guys that just
that's their thing.
Are better at it.
Yeah,
they're guys Manu's that they score in their sleep. So
they get paid to score the goals. Exactly. How exciting is it that you have the 2 cup competitions this year too? So I remember when they were talking about reintroducing the U.S. Open Cup, and now you guys have that, and you have what was it, the Jägermeister Cup?
Jägermeister Cup.
That's going to be you guys in the League One USL. The other one is the U.S. Open Cup, USL Championship, and MLS. Like, how cool is that? Because I think that's one of the things that I enjoy the most of watching soccer overseas is, you may have a Premier League matchup, but you could also have an FA Cup match, a Europa League, a Carabao Cup, and a Champions League match for different teams throughout the league. I mean, how cool is that to know that you're going to be playing in 3 competitions in one season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously from the player's perspective, it's more competition, it's more chance to do what you love. From the fans' perspective, it's again the same thing, more footy. But I think the best part about it is what you referenced at the beginning is it involves the region, and it gives people that, no disrespect, but it's hard to see a professional and be like, oh, I can do that. Everyone can dream of doing that, of course, and everyone can do it. But maybe when you see your local clubs or the clubs from Naples or the clubs, up in Lakeland, you see these clubs. Of course, the Rowdies are amazing and the big name, but there's a ton of really talented players and clubs in the surrounding areas that maybe don't have the same media or regional spotlight. So these competitions, coming from playing in Charleston, I had friends that played for amateur pro teams. Guys I went to school with that worked 9 to 5s that soccer was a hobby. They played for teams that were now competing in the Open Cup. So I had my own friends being able to compete against me.
That's cool.
That part of the game for me is so cool. And I think it gives, and you're seeing it a lot more nowadays. I forget the lad's name that just played for the U.S. Up from Connecticut, just started playing. I think he's a Ghanaian American. He's relatively young. He just started playing soccer sophomore, junior year, and now he's playing for the national team. Is giving these kids in these areas that, hey, I might not have been playing soccer my whole life. Maybe I just started, but now there's a path and there's a way to go do the impossible. And I think that is what makes the competition so. I'm like literally being a salesman at this point.
No,
but like that.
What do you think I do when I'm here?
Yeah, like that's like the pure. I like the pureness of sport there. Like you just want to go out there and sweat and compete, and like everyone loves seeing the little dog or the underdog go against the big guys. So I think it's super exciting.
You want to be able to see some different things and be able to see guys where, like, I like it. I always think it's cool when you go to the FA Cup and you see a third tier team going.
You can see the passion.
Oh my gosh. Well, also it's one thing when you see those teams and they go up to play, an Arsenal or something, or Liverpool or something like that. But when Liverpool and those guys go down and they play, and obviously the pitch probably isn't as nice, but the look on those people's faces, like, it does so much for their community, right? I mean, think about all that money that's going into there. So there's so many great things about this sport that I really hope that the U.S. I love that it's more process driven than result driven, right? I love that the fact that there's a tribalism of it that we see in college football. That it's just like people. I mean, look at Ralph's mob. Look at the people that goes to your game, like go to your games. It's amazing. Last thing before I go, just a message to the entire community and everybody that supports the Tampa Bay Rowdies, man, because it's once it starts this weekend, man, it hits the ground running, right? Stop. And I know it's going to be a little funky because there's 4 straight away games for the first, the home opener, April 12th. They're at Al Lang Stadium, but just your message to all the supporters out there.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just referenced it. We spoke about it a little bit as a team. We're here in Tampa. We're still going through hurricane fatigue. Right. I mean, especially with our 2 of the 3 main sports teams, or 4, excuse me. Al Lang's going through a little bit, and I think for everyone that's a part of the Rowdies, Al Lang is our home. It's our fortress. It's part of our identity. And again, respectfully, that means nothing to the people that actually lost their homes, where they actually lay their head at night. So to have the season back up, to be able to go back to Al Lang, and it doesn't matter whether it's in 4, 5, 6 weeks, but to be able to go back to where we call home, have the smoke, the flares, the people, see the marina, the boats, Cookie Fuel Mama, all the good stuff.
It's a Cookie Fuel Mama corner kick.
The crazy player corner stuff on the billboard where we look goofy, like all that stuff. That's what the people want. That's what the people love, and that brings, as corny as cliche it is a little bit of hope. So my message to everyone that's part of the Tampa Bay Rowdies is thank you first and foremost. 2, let's go. I wanted to throw in a little F in there in the beginning, but didn't. But we're so excited. We're so appreciative of all the support that we get from all over Tampa Bay, St. Pete, and the surrounding areas. And it's been a tough few months for everybody, and we can't wait to get back out there in April and hopefully give some people some pretty special nights to enjoy.
I think this is the year, baby. Get that 3rd star right there. Star standout defender for our Tampa Bay Rowdies, the one and only Forrest Lasso. You're the man, brother.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
The man. He's got to roll. He's got things to do. I'm getting texted.
I'm out of here.
He's got to go.
Thanks,
See you,
guys.
pal.
See you.
He's the man.